Hello, everyone. Welcome, Tatsters, to another live hangout chat with myself. I'm George Ross. This is Retro Reselling. I didn't do a little teaser like I did with Ben. We all know who's coming up. I'll wait for a few people to join before we introduce him or her, if you haven't seen. Lots of people in already, which is great. Say some highs. Hey, Lucy. Lucy T was in first. Chris, Jason, lots of regulars in. Hey, Rod. Late chat for you too. It's the only time I get 9 and 10 is like girls are in bed, house is all tidy. There's Tarek. Yeah, 9 seems to work well, even though Arsenal are playing and we're losing because they're on Prime today. But yeah, we just checked that before we went live and they're losing, so I've got rid of that. Apparently there's 9 people watching. I think that's a bit behind. KLC. Who else we got? Janet, Money Mental. Of course, that is Andrew. And, hang on a second. Peter Ray. Louisa. Hello. Right. We've got an hour, so let's not dilly-dally. I think 51 people, that's better. So, we all know who he is. He needs no introduction. So let's whack him on. Zaheer Malik. There you are.
Hello.
So, the title of the chat and what it's going to be roughly based on is balancing business with family. So, obviously, both family guys type thing. But before we get into that, do you want to say hi, Z, and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Zaheer. Make a few YouTube videos about selling stuff on eBay now and then. And that's pretty much the sum of it, I think. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, fresh from the Hitchin meetup. I've been really lagging to this week, really groggy and tired, trying to get back into work.
I know what you mean. It's been yeah, it was really fun on Saturday. Saturday was amazing. It was I've been saying it to anyone that's asked, not that anyone has asked, but if there is a chance to go to one, you should definitely go to one. I mean, like you were a little bit nervous, weren't you, George, when you turned up? And just a little, but it was worth going around and saying hi to everyone. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Apparently, this is here sales stuff now. Apparently, you've having a good week.
Ooh, yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I sell things here and there.
So yeah, like with Ben again, had Amy, my volunteer. Here we go, front and back with questions. This is a professional chat. So yeah, plenty of things to get through. But if you have got questions, obviously whack them in. I'll try my best to keep up with them. But it's a question straight away. We'll start with Shazad. When did you start this business thing? Did I miss something?
Well, yeah, it's always meant to be a business. I think that sometimes my personality conflicts with that whole thing. But you know, we do our best. That's all.
There we go. Right, so without any further ado, let's go on to the first topic or first question for Zaheer.
I'm gone. I'm a bit nervous, actually.
Do you think reselling gives you a better work-life balance and allow more time for family?
It can do. It can do. I think at the moment, especially, it's really helped because, like, I'm able to do stuff that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do if I was in a structured job. So, for example, I can be the family's Uber driver and you know, ferry them around, which is comforting to me as well. Like, you know, I'm happy that I can drop the kids off at college, or I'm happy that I can drop Beck off and she doesn't have to get the bus at night or whatever, and things like that. And as long as I'm motivated and organized enough, it won't affect how much or what work I get done.
Exactly. Does it balance one way to the other, like the scales heavily in one favor?
One thing I'll say is, one thing I'll say with reselling, as I found it, and maybe it's partly because of just where we currently are. Like, you know, we've got a lot of stuff that we need to sort out financially and stuff like that. And one thing with reselling is I don't think I ever really stopped thinking about it. So there is a problem with that in terms of balance. Like I think with a job, once you've done your day's shift, you can come home and guilt free just chill out and do whatever you want. And in some cases, for some people, like for example Andrew, he can do a day job and then he can come home guilt free and spend his spare time on his business. And I think you see a lot of successful resellers do that, or they hold down full-time jobs and they do that. Whereas I think when you're doing it full time, you're constantly like, have I done enough today? Have I done enough today? And you can definitely control that a little bit by setting goals for the day. But even if you set goals for the day, you're like, was that the right goal? Like, so like I've been enjoying Peter Cummins' Vinegar Jar has been talking about 5 a day, listing 5 a day, and I think that's really nice because it guarantees you that. And like Lonnie in the US has the momentum board, but
Yeah.
but the thing is, you can still do those things and then be like, but was it enough? Shouldn't I be doing more, considering this is my full-time gig? I don't do anything else. And you can just not stop thinking about it. So the balance part is, I don't think I don't think I've sussed it anyway.
Yeah. She sells seashells, who was at the Hitcher meetup, which was lovely to hear.
Yeah.
Linked with what you just said, do you actually have a routine? Because you are full-time. Is there like a set routine on each day or anything like that for you?
I do try to have a routine. I think recently I've learned that prioritizing what needs to be done both in your personal life and in your reselling really does help. So I've recently, like I think you mentioned as well, like I've been up late and streaming late and working late, and I think because I found that's the one time of day that I feel that I can work without distraction. So it's a routine. It's not a good routine, because then I'm up like really early in the morning as well. It's not a good routine, but it is a routine.
What time do you get up with the dog? Is it like 4:30?
Half five.
Right.
Yeah, half five. Yeah, and but definitely routine is something that I'm not rigid with it though, because it's just difficult to be rigid with it. And like I think we all know so many of the right things to do, but if it was that easy, then we'd all be super like organized and routine based, and everything would be just as it should be. But the thing is, we're kind of like human, so just
I try and have a routine. I have set days for set things, but like today, Thursday, I know we do electrical testing, picturing. I've done none of that today. I was sourcing all day. Went to an antique centre. Look out for them videos. But yeah, but I've got the flexibility, so I could catch up on that tomorrow, sort of thing. But yeah, routine is hard.
definitely
Yeah.
easier said than done, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Has working for yourself given you the drive to actually work harder and do better for your family compared to a like 9 to 5 type job?
I mean it's definitely, because it's especially since like Beck had to go back to work last year. That's a real, I take that as like quite a pressure on myself, because that wasn't the plan. And so until I can come up with enough income to make that happen again, where like we're both working together, like not necessarily on exactly the same things, but like both working as just full-time self-employed, that's got to be one of our main goals now. And that definitely does motivate me. And generally one of the things that did motivate me about working for myself was just the fact that there's no limit placed on you. There's no limit placed on you. Where you go to work a job, there are limits placed on you depending on your level of education, your level of experience. Things like that do play a big role, and there are plenty of glass ceilings. You might just come across the perfect company, but if for 5 years there's someone who's in charge of you that just for whatever reason just doesn't think you've got the potential that someone else does, that's 5 years that you could spend of your life just stuck and not be able to kind of reach that level. Whereas with working for yourself, it's infinitely more I'd say infinitely more flaky, more challenging, more stressful, but it's that kind of it's just kind of that hope that or that the fact that you've actually got that chance is like that, you know, the opportunity is there.
Yeah. And actually, you did mention about Bex. She was obviously, for people that don't know, your wife was
Yeah.
full time with you till
When we
recently.
moved up, yeah,
Well, I
about a
say
year ago.
recently. What's she
Yeah.
been doing now? A year or so?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
she had to get a job at the local surgery, basically, so we could pay our rent. So it was quite
Yeah.
important. We moved up, and I think we did like about was it a year or two where we were both working together, and it was going like well, it was going well to a point, and then you know, the pressure builds up, and you get too stressed
Yeah.
trying to just make the builds at the very last moment and hoping stuff's selling, and it just got too much for us. So she ended up going back, and that's been a real I've said it before, that's been a real like you know, like sucker punch, and it's something that we need to work on. And it's just looking back on it, it's just like we maybe were a bit too hasty in, you know, because that's like the dream. Do you know what I mean? Like we all have that dream, but again, we're human, and we sometimes do things in the wrong order. You know, like I love, you know, that's like what we both kind of dream of being at, you know, working together, chilling out, and, you know, being able to provide for ourselves and our daughters. But, you know, it sometimes you jump the gun because you want it so bad, and you don't put the necessary framework in to make it stick. So
This is how good Amy is at her questions. This
okay.
links straight onto what you just said.
Oh gosh.
Have you made working as a couple work or business partners work? It's not for everyone. So how do you and Bex sort of
I think
work?
thankfully we're so different.
Yeah.
It kind of works. Like whilst we were working together, I thought it was fine. I mean, I don't think she'd say any different. I'd hope not. But I thought we got on really well. I don't think we didn't have much confrontation or anything. And I think part of that is because we both recognize what we're good at. Do you know what I mean? Like we both recognize the things that I'm good at doing and the things that she's good at doing. So I feel that it made the kind of working relationship quite smooth. Yeah, there are certain things like having your own space. So, for example, she's a lot more organized and tidy than I am. So, you know, that's frustrating for her. How I inventory stock would be different to how she inventoried stock, and I learned from how she did it in the end because it was better. So yeah, so overall it works, but there are definitely some things that you adjust to.
Well, me and Amy, like obviously she might be still not signed off yet, but she'll be here most of the time doing her business and a bit of reselling. But we have a tendency to like go for a pub lunch and get distracted.
That was one of the amazing things that I miss a lot. Actually, was we
Yeah.
used to pop out for pub lunches,
Exactly,
which might have had something to do with her having to go back to work in the end, but they were fun.
yeah.
And Ronnie's in the chat.
Yeah, I just saw you subscribe as well. Hey,
Yeah.
Robbie, and he said
Ronnie Hart. Yeah. Legend, absolute guy is awesome.
awesome to have you watching, Ronnie. Apparently, if you had kids, he's not sure if you would have the balls to do it. But we both have 2 girls, actually, don't we?
Yeah.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to get to that point where you're just willing to take risks.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, on paper, I shouldn't have done any of this really. Like, you know, I've got responsibility of 2 kids. I should have stayed in my steady job, right? I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at it, right? Why would I take such a reckless chance? That's how you could look at it. But you know, you do only get one chance at life, and you know, I'd been in, the way I looked at it is I'd spent the majority of my working life has been spent employed. So from the age of like 16, when I first got my first part-time job, and then obviously like when I was like 18, 19 and I went full-time, you know, I've been employed all that time. So I feel I've given employed work a fair crack, and I've worked very hard. And I felt I gave it a fair shot. So it's only right that I do throw the dice, as it were, and take a chance. And overall, I think it's been. I just feel it's been overall it's been a success, even with all the obstacles and the challenges and the mess ups, and there've been plenty. So.
Well, as Victoria says, reckless chances often pay off as well. Look at Richard Branson.
I wouldn't say often, but they can pay off. Yeah. But yes, it's always good to be an optimist, though. So yes.
Yeah. Also, too many people chase the money. Quality of life is what really counts, and I agree with that. It's not all about the money. Obviously, we need to make money to live and to have fun, but yeah, getting that balance.
Yeah, completely. I think the whole money thing as well, though, is it's just a side effect, isn't it? It's meant to be a side effect. It's meant to be like a side product of the challenge of it. So like right now, this is, I would say self-employment is currently kicking my butt, and that's my challenge. So and I'm relishing. I relish that. Like I like the fact that it's because imagine if it did just go all crazy smooth and everything just worked out perfectly. How much would your interest last as a person? Like, because there, like you said, there's got to be some element of enjoyment to it. And I think sometimes I can find, I don't know, I like to rock the boat, and
as long as you can cover your bills, everything else is a bonus. Exactly, Rod.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be an improvement for us, I'd say.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned it before, but like before reselling, when I was in a proper job, me and Amy was in like 5 figures worth of debt just to pay, like cover the bills basically. But now this is giving us like debt free, covering all the bills and then having fun at the same time. So
it's worked really well.
Yeah, exactly. So back onto Bex, actually. I just seen this. This is a very girly question. Do you try and make time for date night and or non-work conversation? Dedicated date nights at all?
We've talked about it many times. so we've honestly talked about it many times. And it has been the suggestion, and we've managed to do a couple of date nights, but lack of consistency, I would say, lack of consistency with that. But I will say some of that is just down to our cash flow and things like that. So I think when that improves, I think that will happen as well, because it is something that we do think is important. It is, I think sometimes it's easy, especially if you've been in a really long-term relationship where, touch wood, it's gone really smoothly overall. Like, we feel really blessed. We feel really lucky that we met so young. I mean, like yourselves, you and Amy met when you guys were like mega young, right?
We was 14 and we're 28, so exactly half our lives apart. Together.
So that's amazing. And
when did you two get together?
I was 19, she was 18. So
when was you married? How long before that?
Oh, load. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, and then we got married after that, like quite a few years after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, but it is something that definitely we do recognize, because things go well, but they only go well because you do work on it. And you've both got to be on the same page. One thing I will say is, again, going back to the whole thing of working as a couple, you might be the most different people on earth, and that's absolutely cool. Like me and Beck are so different on so many things, but luckily all the things that we're different on don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that I like different movies. It doesn't matter that I like different music. It doesn't matter I like different food. None of that stuff matters, because that's just such, in the scheme of things, those are just irrelevant things to be different on. When it comes down to the main stuff, like the important stuff, that's where we're like, touch wood, so far we've not ever come across a situation when there's been any major decision where we've clashed. And I think that's the key. And I'm not just like sitting here and bragging like, look at how great because we have issues like everyone else does, but that is the key, is like, are you on the same page? If you're going to work together, you've got to be on the same page when it comes to the big decisions.
And I can reflect that. Like me and Amy, we are similar, but then opposites attract, sort of thing. Like even on music, I like my metal, hard rock stuff. She hates that. Even movies, I would like similar movies, like comedies, but she likes a chick flick and all that.
Yeah.
Bit of crime drama, but I like the more real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to major decisions, we're like on the
Tend
same
to be
path.
on the same page. Yeah.
Like bounce off each other. Like I do the lives, and like she does the brainy bit, the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works well.
Yeah, it definitely works. Definitely does work.
So, what do you think's been the biggest benefit to your family doing reselling from home full time, and also the biggest impact or negative that people don't necessarily think about?
Okay. The biggest kind of positive, I suppose, has just been, like it's been really. It's the first time I felt like this is something I'm going to stick at. Because before, when I was employed, there used to be a lot of stress when I used to job hop. I've always been in work, but I'd always job hop, and I think the longest I stayed in a job was like 5 years, which probably by today's standard is an eternity, actually. But when I was working there, then that was, so I'd say like that's one of the biggest benefits is just knowing that I found what, like, we now know what our path is, or we know our destiny now, like it sounds really dramatic, but it really does. It feels like we found now how we want to live. This is the lifestyle that we want, that lifestyle of self-employment. Now the downside is also linked with that, which is we've not yet achieved we've not figured that out yet fully. Like I don't think we've fully figured out how to be great at business, or great at building businesses, or there's still so many things that we're trying to get better at. I mean, just doing your taxes on time and filling them in, or just how to be more budgeted and how to be all that kind of stuff, and just making it now work for us is the different thing. Because whereas before, even though I was jumping jobs, at least I had a steady income, and adjusting to working for yourself where your income can go up and down, definitely it's it's kind of linked, really.
Sorry, Arsenal just scored.
Oh, good equalizer.
So I'm concentrating.
Yeah.
The down thing, or the biggest negative for me, is the house, because it doesn't pay me. Like you tidy it, especially with kids, you tidy it, you turn around, it's messy again. That's probably the biggest thing holding me back, and I think people don't tend to think about that, especially if you work from home. Like you got your stuff, your desk, lining still needs doing, the washing needs doing.
Working from home is working from home, you're right, actually that's quite a challenge. Working from home is definitely a challenge, because it's just that it blurs the lines, doesn't it? Because it's meant to be, your home is your place of relaxation, and it is your home. It's where you chill out with your family and stuff. But then all of a sudden, it's also where you are now expected to turn off from the rest of the house and just work, which is incredibly tough to do.
Yeah, my positive is exactly what Tea Cakes has just said. I started full time, and our youngest started full time school. Obviously, since then we've paid £0 for childcare. I've gone to every like little assembly, sports day. Like they seem to have little things like in the middle of the day, like 10 till 10:30. There's a play about the Romans, and I can just go to that without asking permission or anything. I mean,
that's also a positive, definitely. I mean, especially being up here by ourselves, it's comforting for the kids to know that that I'm always available, even if technically I shouldn't be. They know they can just call me and I can go and pick them up, etc. So
yeah. Are there times of the day when work isn't allowed?
Not really. Not really. I think it's
You have like a shut off, like that's it now.
I think I naturally do that. Like
Yeah.
like for example, if in the evenings, like if Beck's trying to chill out, she's like knitting on the sofa. I'll be in here and I'll realize that I'm not doing anything, but I'm just like I've I'm here
Yeah.
trying to work, and I'll realize at one point I'm not, or I've realized I've just dozed off in the chair or something. I'll be like, and then I'll be like, okay, this is just stupid. I'm not getting any work done. I'm just out here not achieving anything. And then, in the evening, I'll definitely go out and chill out with Beck, and we'll watch like a few episodes of SVU or something, or which is just an addiction at the moment. But yeah, so I'm trying to do that. I mean, there are definitely things that I wish I could do more of. Like I really, I'm so inconsistent with, like I really want to get back into playing video games. I love playing video games, and
Nah.
I'm struggling to get a good balance for it. When I play, I end up playing too much, and then when I don't play, I don't play at all. And I would love to be able to tell myself, okay, I'm gonna play and stream video games for an hour a day. I'd love to be able to do that, and as simple as that sounds, I can't do it. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but
Yeah. In our normal routine, we agreed I sort of work from 6:30 in the morning, but then I have to shut off at 6:30.
at night. Oh,
Because
okay.
I'll just keep going. I'll just constantly be looking at the iPads, like messages, sales,
Well, that's the thing,
queries.
because you might not be. That's such a good point, though, George. Because it's like you're not necessarily always working in my head. Instantly brings, oh, I should be there, like either photographing or listing, and it's not that. Sometimes you can spend so much time just sourcing, like
Yeah,
even when you're at home, like especially if you're like going through auction catalogs, or you're
yeah.
browsing Facebook Marketplace, or you're researching this, that, or the other. There's so much time can be spent just learning and researching,
It's still
and that
brain power and work
yeah,
sort of thing.
that's a massive time sink, massive time sink.
Mm.
And I feel that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, yeah, because obviously it's my hobby and passion all at the
Mm,
same time. And yeah, I need Amy to literally tell me off basically. Um, yeah, 6:30. And then also Saturdays, sort of like that's family day. We'd go like swimming or something, for example, or go to like Jump Street.
mm,
And obviously Sunday mornings normally boot sales, but then have to not touch anything for the rest of the
mm.
Sunday because that's family time again.
That's something we've really worked hard at now. Is
Mm.
we're trying to do stuff at the weekends. We're actually trying to spend like a Saturday doing something different every weekend, because it can become just all one. The week can just
Merges.
become one big day.
Yeah.
It can just literally, where you do the same thing, it can become Groundhog Day. And yeah, it's because I think one of the things is, like, during the week, especially, you might know this feeling, because you are doing so many other things, like the pickups, drop offs, the
Yeah.
chores, etc. You feel that when the weekend comes, and then finally the girls and the missus are off work, you then feel like, oh, now I can work, because you've got that time. but
Yeah.
but you have been working all week, you
Yeah.
have been. And I think sometimes it can also just come down to appreciating how much you do, because I think it's very easy to, like, I know for me as well, I'm really quick at just, I don't know, I just belittle stuff that I do sometimes, and I
Yeah.
don't give it, because it's
I
still
do that.
all work. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, because I think I've got this fault, and I think a lot of people can suffer from this, where you only attach worth to actions that you're doing that are creating you a actual income, which
Mm.
obviously you need your actions to create you income, otherwise you're going to starve. But you do also have to appreciate that there's plenty of work that you do that doesn't necessarily create income, but needs to be done. So for example, if that means picking the kids up from school, dropping them off, dropping the missus off, doing the food shopping, or doing whatever around the house, or that still needs to be done. And even though it's
Yeah.
not necessarily earning you income, you shouldn't necessarily see it as just, you know that you haven't been working.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, but obviously Amy's a business analyst, and one of their things is called a Kanban chart, and she's stuck it on the wall, and it's literally you name every job you have, no matter how small, like listing or sourcing. There's a to do, work in action, and like complete, and you have to move each day like on post-it notes so you can actually see what you've done that day. So then when you look at it, you think you haven't done anything, and then you look at this board and you can actually see
All
because
the things that you've done.
it's moving along. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
that's actually quite cool.
yeah, she comes in handy.
Oh, nice. I know that sounds really useful. Definitely.
That's
Is
just
it?
one
Yeah.
of many. Like what's the other one? I think it's the 5 whys. Like if you've got a problem, if you go back 5 or 3 whys, you find out the root cause or something. So like, why is my eBay sales slow? I'm trying to do an example on the spot here. So why isn't this selling? Because say it's a pair of snow boots. It's summer. Oh, I can't think of a good example now. That's a good one before the chat. Basically, if you go back
Yeah.
5, you tend to find the root cause, and then it might just be because you're not sourcing enough or your
Some
pictures aren't
yeah.
very good.
So
Yeah,
actually, like analytical kind of thinking, like really
yeah,
kind of like retracing your steps, as it were.
yeah. And the other thing she's good at
Yeah.
is cutting out the rubbish, basically. That helps with videos as well. Like I think I told you at the meetup, I used to edit my videos, then I'd have to give it to Amy, and she would cut out
Edit
all
them even more. Wow.
the
Yeah.
the bits that don't need to be in there. She doesn't do that now. She's far too busy. But that
That's
also helps with the business. Like that's why I'm getting a bigger unit because
yeah.
I'll buy an item from the charity shop, bring it to my unit, then that
Hmm.
might need to come back for testing, back to the unit to store away, and then when it sells, it comes back to be wrapped, and that's all wasting time basically. And then she calculates it in money and time spent, and it's actually better to spend
Wow.
more on a unit. So then pick it up, it's at the unit, it stays at the unit. So
That's
yeah.
some. That is some smart thinking. Yeah.
So again, if people haven't followed you, you used to, was it South London or North London? Was it East London?
Southeast. Yeah.
South East London, and you've moved right up
To
basically near
northwest.
Scotland. Yeah, northwest.
Northwest. Yeah. Northwest. Yeah.
How's that
Um.
affected your business and sort of family life, etc.? Mainly
It's
business sides, yeah.
yeah. It's been quite a change. Business wise. Because I think it happened pretty quickly. It was
Yeah,
like we're very on the spur of the moment type people. You know, like people ask us, "Oh, do you have family here and stuff?" It's like, no. It's like, how did you choose it? It's like, well, came up here one weekend. It was really nice, and we thought we liked it, so we kind
yeah,
of, you know, we're very impulsive. And yeah, we moved from southeast London to northwest England. It's like 260 miles from home, and it definitely it definitely has had an impact on like how I was doing things. I think it set us back. I reckon, looking back on it, I feel like it set us back because you don't know your local area, you don't know
yeah,
what's around you know, you have to relearn. It's like you feel like you've got an advantage because you've got the knowledge, as it were, but you don't necessarily know the geography, you don't know where to go, where the good places are, etc. It takes
yeah.
time. It takes
Have you learned
time.
that
And
yet? Do you know the routes and what?
I kind I feel like I've got a better idea of it now, obviously, because we've been here for a few years now. It's like this is our third year. We're 3 years in now. But there are also just differences. There are just differences up here, like versus down south. I think down south, I felt, I mean, I don't know whether this is just my mind playing tricks on me or not, but it just felt like I was consistently finding like stuff, you know, that I higher value stuff. It felt like, I mean, it could just be BS because I've then found some good value stuff, you know. It's
Yeah,
just, I think it's just the fact that it's a complete change. You're completely thrown off what's what, you know, where's where. It is a big ask, and you know, it can, it can knock you back. It can change how you operate, and it's something we've had to get used to, and it's just local knowledge really, some of it.
Mm.
Like now I know where the bin is,
I
that
always
I
had
like
place
to
in the
go to.
bin.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I noticed since doing YouTube, even at the meetup, are Arsenal winning? I think we're winning. Hey. Yeah, just the like going around the charity shops and the boot sales, people are so surprised at like the quality that I find on a consistent basis. And I think those are partly down to geography, because like London's just there.
there's a big cultural difference. I didn't think there would be, and I'm trying to tell myself that there's not, because you can find good stuff up here. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of resellers that actually are based up north and do really, really well. So I'm not saying that. It just could just be that with my knowledge means this is what I've experienced, and my knowledge might not be as good as someone else's who can do really well up north. But
Yeah,
like what I found is very similar to what you mentioned there, where there seems to be a different mentality. So whereas down south you would find trainers regularly, like I'd find Air Force Ones, like you can't
I
not
find
find Air
them
Force Ones.
every week.
Yeah, up here I don't think I've ever seen a pair of Air Force Ones, and I don't know whether that's like a cultural thing, because maybe people up here just wear their trainers to
To the
death, and
north.
then yeah, like because I thought, oh cool, we're in a very outdoorsy type area. We're going to be coming across Merrill walking trainers, and we're going to be coming across you very, very, very rarely see. In fact, like I said, I've never seen a pair of Air Force Ones up here. But not just that, just it could just be, like I said, it could be a thing where maybe people here have got more of the mend mentality rather than the throwaway mentality. But
Yeah.
again, that's such a broad thing to say, so I'm not even sure if it's accurate, but that's just my feeling. And then when I saw some of the chat will know Joe reselling for pennies.
I was going to mention that he'd done
Yeah,
another video.
he did
Just
another video,
saying
and
the
consistently, I could name a number of things like Gadget coffee machines I used to find regularly down south at
yeah,
car boot sales. Never seen one up here. I mean, yeah, I've now picked up this amazing one, but that we're talking 3 years down the line I found one, versus
come on,
finding them 3-4 times per car boot season at
let's
least.
have a look.
Oh, what, the coffee machine? It's just here.
Yeah.
I haven't even moved it. This is beautiful. I'll show you this. I
You're
paid
passionate about your cooking
paid a
skills.
fiver for this. A
Oh, I think
fiver.
I had
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah. No, this is a
Similar.
lot of only. Look at those switches. This is worth a good couple £100. I mean, this
Oh,
is
really?
real.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Made in Italy is beautiful. It is absolutely
Is that
stunning.
charity shop or Facebook or?
This is like it's like a charity shop. So it's a La
Okay.
Pavone, but so you can, but it's very different. I think over the past 4 years, there's certain items which I've just not seen. And there are items where you just feel that people do ask for significantly more money. I think up north people just I think they just use their stuff more. And then when they do so, they ask for more. I mean, I've just found better deals. I mean, even the best deal we've ever had since moving up here came from down south. So, I think that's just the way it is.
Julie's done the opposite apparently, from northwest to southeast, and never go back up north.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I've got to say, I'll mention this. I think it was about a year ago or something, or maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 2 years ago. It was like we went down for a few days to see family, and it was a lovely weekend. And we went to the car boots, and we felt like we were like it was just. Our minds were blown. Like having suffered, and I'm going to use the word suffer here, having suffered 2 years of car boots up here, to just go down south was like, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like we found such amazing stuff with such ease. Like you can get amazing stuff up here, but you better be the very first people. Like you've got to be ruthlessly quick.
Yeah,
And I know you've got to be like that. The thing is, that's the thing, you've got to be like that down south as well. You do. So when I'm saying all this stuff, please please bear in mind, I'm not saying that it's, I'm not saying like, oh, if you're down southeast, you're just going to find like amazing stuff and,
Yeah.
boo-hoo me up. No, I'm not saying that. I'm really not saying that. What I'm saying is there is a difference in the amount of stuff that I've seen. That's all I'm saying. And the ease with which, or the consistency with which I've come across it. That's probably more accurate. The consistency of the quality of stuff I was finding down south. I was finding the big ticket items, I was coming across them far more consistently than I do up here. That's it.
Even with selling, like I'm trying to get away from furniture and stuff like that. But like 9 times out of 10, it will sell to London. And again, I'm 40-minute drive, if that, from London. So a big unit like this behind me, that'll be like £40 straight to London, and it's a quicker sell. Whereas if I was with you or up near you, that would be like 3 figures to send it, maybe a couple of £100 to send the same item, because just the distance.
Yeah.
Because they're all hip and trendy down here in London, like all the swanky shops and like flats.
Yeah.
Like buying, I can find good stuff, and then selling is easier as well. Like
I think people are just. I think down south, because there's so much competition and there's so much abundance. Like I think it's density as well, isn't it? So much density of stuff going on. People just get rid so much easier. Like, I used to find coffee grinders quite regularly, because obviously coffee shops are a big thing in London, right? Massive thing. Like, people love coffee shops. There's coffee shops opening, closing all the time. And when coffee shops were closing down south, people literally didn't really value their equipment nearly as much as they do up here. So whereas, down south, you'd be able to get a significantly better quality of equipment for a lot less. Like I was picking up Mazza grinders, which are like really good quality coffee grinders. Mazza coffee grinders for like 40-50 quid. And when you look at the local paper and the Gumtree, the deals are always there. Up here, I think I found two commercial coffee grinders in coming on to 3 to 4 years now, and both of them were crap comparatively. But like comparatively, they're good. They made profit. I think I bought one for like 40, and then I sold it for like 120, I think, and it had a knock box that I sold, so I made some money on it. But I'm talking paying 40 to make 120 versus the same 40 would get me like a Mazza grinder, which I'd then sell for like closer to 300. That's the difference. I've not seen someone sell a Mazza grinder up here, let alone, I know they do sell them, but I'm not saying they don't sell them. Of course they sell them. So I'm caveating everything I'm saying with, I almost don't want to talk about that, because I feel like I don't want it to just come across as me making up, lame excuses. But there is a difference. I think there is a difference.
Here, even in our town, there's so many coffee shops. Like, you probably have to have the biggest, best gear to have the best coffee. Whereas if you haven't got as many up north, it doesn't matter as much. Maybe don't have to be so swanky. But again, that's just a blanket on everyone. Obviously, not everyone's like that. But like, especially when you go to London, there's a coffee shop on every corner, I think. And because they're charging higher prices, they're going to have the higher priced machinery, basically.
And also, I think the other thing I've noticed is, especially in the car boot season, up here, car boots are very much something done by regulars. Like you've got professional car booters. I think almost everyone is a professional car booter. Like, whereas down south, you could tell the difference. You've mentioned you'd see Range Rovers and Mercs pulling up and emptying their boots at the car boot, and you'd know, okay, that's a family, or a little Fiesta pulls up and you're like, oh, that's a family, and then a white transit van pulls up, that's a dealer. It's almost that clear cut in a lot of cases. Up here, they're mostly going to be domestic vehicles, but everyone seems to be a dealer. It's like everyone seems to have this. There's a lot less just families that come out. That's the other thing. And then finally, God, I'm going on a bit of a rant here about it. But finally, the other thing that we didn't necessarily give enough kind of attention to is the weather. And this year,
Yeah.
like I counted, we lost out on so many car boots. I actually stopped counting in the end, but we lose out on so many car boot weekends up here,
Yeah.
just down to rain. So
I think
yeah.
London, is it London or Essex, is the driest county in the
Yep.
country. And
Yep.
another benefit. So
Yeah, and that's a huge benefit when you're talking about a specific, when you're talking about a specific, like period of time that you've got these these car boots to visit. Just losing a handful can be damaging. Like say you've got, I don't know, you got like a 4-month period in which the car boots are running. That's 16 weeks. Okay, that's only 16 opportunities to go and get your stock. Now, if all of a sudden you're losing 30 odd percent or 40% of those, that's going to damage you.
But even if I have 1 week off, I can notice a difference. Like, so especially this year, I was picking up so much, I didn't need to go to anything else. But as soon as there was a weekend called off, I was like, oh no, I need some stuff.
Yeah.
But again, another benefit down here. I think I could count on one hand how many weekends were cancelled. Like towards the end, it finished earlier this year, but I think the whole country was affected. Like through the spring, summer. There's literally.
But even then, I was noticing during the summer, even when it was raining, when the rain, because there were patches where the whole country was affected by rain, there were still more weekends lost up here than there were down south. There was still more because I still follow like a couple of the pages of my old car boots that I like to visit, and I do feel. I think like I've heard Daily Refinement, who used to be 10K on the Bay, talk about this as well, and he often mentions that he's lucky where he lives. That his unfair advantage, he calls it, is that he lives I think he lives somewhere in LA or something, and there's loads of people. So, and I think it's important to recognize that it's not always a level playing field, and the quicker you realize that and adapt to it, the better you'll do. And I think sometimes sometimes we're definitely a bit slow on the uptake when it comes to adapting to changes, because I definitely feel that we've had to change how we do things since moving, but it's not an issue once you recognize what the issue is.
Exactly. So no one start moving to Essex or anything anytime soon. We've got to work for this stuff. Just seeing if there's any questions in the chat. Sorry I've been ignoring you, chat. I've been flicking on like people's comments and stuff every now and then.
I saw Ronnie asked a question as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said, Zaheer, how far is the difference to drive down there and hit up the car boots during the season? We've discussed it, but it's too expensive and risky. Like it's about a 4-hour drive to get down south, but also petrol as well. We're talking 50 quid each way, petrol. So there's 100 quid straight away, and then you can kind of make do with it. It's just it would be a kerfuffle.
Plus boot sales start at like 5 or 6, so even if you did say come from my
you'd have to come and stay, and like I'd have to either stay at my parents or something, which would be a nightmare. Like it's busy, and I don't know.
You just got to like adapt to your surroundings, which sounds like you have done. So also when you did move up, you got the massive RC hall. You went from the electronics, cool stuff. You went to more quality over quantity to quantity over quality, you'd say. But you're slowly adapting again. What's your plans for like next year? How are you attacking it?
It's been really weird, because the RC stuff was flying for us. Like it was not long ago, and it was doing amazing for us. And I'm convinced that that's the path I still want to take. But this year has been massive dip. Like our store, our RC store is 30% down year on year. So, but like you mentioned, like when we were chatting before we went live, we haven't put any fresh listings on it. So with the
Yeah.
RC store, we're just going to let that trickle away until we can afford to put more money in it. We
You are
basically
planning to carry on with it then?
Yes, 100%. Because I do feel, I think there's been a lot of changes with eBay this year. There's been a lot of changes,
Yeah.
with the website, and it has had effects. But I think again, it's about adapting. I think this is the theme that keeps on niggling at me. Is like sometimes I just feel like I'm just not quick enough on the uptake and adapting to things that happen. So like with the changes, I've made some changes recently, and again, I don't know whether it's the changes or whether it's just recognizing this is a traditionally busier part for people buying spares for their radio control cars.
Yeah.
So we're going to let that carry on, but we have gone back to doing like the more old school, just going out and sourcing stuff as well. So just which has been a massive help. It's really helped fix what could have been a really damaging year.
Yeah. So is there anything exciting planned for 2020, like with business or family, or any plans?
Business wise, business is if with family things are going to stay as they are. I think family wise, I don't think there's much changing. I think we're not going to make any drastic decisions in terms of moving just yet and or anything like that. But I think when it comes to the business, I think we're going to just be focusing on the general store and building that up until we can be in the position to invest more back into the radio control store. We've got like working capital to pay off. That's nearly done. Once that's gone, we'll be looking to just adding more into it. But definitely just focusing back on a bit more on the electronic side of things, because again, it's harder to find, but it's funny when you start looking for things, you tend to find them as well. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Is there anything you would do differently next year? I guess this year you had your office. You said you've given the keys back today.
Yes, we gave the keys back to the office. It was a bit depressing. It was a bit, because I still would love to have a suitable workspace, but I feel that maybe that's gonna I think we maybe jumped the gun. We thought we had a good thing going there, and when we took the office out, we were so happy and we worked really hard. Unfortunately, the work didn't translate. It just didn't translate into the results that we wanted. So we had to give that back. But again, that would be something we'd want to build up to again, to have a suitable business space, because I do feel that having a business space is important.
Yeah. Apparently we've got a question from Northern Thrifter. I was just trying to find it. I think this is it. Help me, I don't drive. I'm an expert in charity shops. Due to ex-management, I'm struggling. I'm not sure what the question is, but
if you don't drive, then that's going to make things difficult for you. Like if we didn't drive up here, we'd be like, the only place you cannot drive, in my opinion, and be okay is where there's tube. Okay,
yeah.
if that's my honest answer. I think Beck and we experimented with Beck and Hannah getting the bus up here, like to try to not interfere with my day so much. We get like one bus an hour. Sometimes it's not running on time. It's slow. It's so yeah, that's what I'd say.
Hate buses. Hate them. I couldn't do this full time if I didn't have my car. It's like my most important thing, I think, and that's my tip to people. Like if they don't drive, try and do it. I know it's expensive. It's a game changer. Like today, I was in 2 different towns. I popped here, popped there. It's expensive, but it does change the game completely.
Yeah, I think the only place you can get away without it though is if you're like in London.
If you're in London and
Yeah,
having a car's a
yeah,
bit of a headache.
yeah. If you're in London and you're getting on the tube and stuff, then
Yeah.
But even then, it's not ideal because try to carry like a few IKEA bags through rush hour on the way home on the tube. It won't be fun. you know,
Yeah.
you won't be everyone's friend. You'll be getting some
Yeah.
looks.
There's people that do
Yeah,
this full time without a car. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just a lot harder, like Paradox Pickers just said.
yeah.
But I'm trying to think, like my
Well,
boot.
Darren is a good example because he tends to focus a lot on auctions. But there is a cost to that. I mean, Darren himself will tell you there's a cost involved with that, which is if especially if you're buying from auctions that are far away. Firstly, if most auctions will charge you an extra percentage for bidding online versus bidding at the same auction in the room. There's normally a percentage increase there, so you're paying that. Then on top of that, if you're asking them to package it and ship it to you, or you have to pay for someone to package and ship it to you, there's an extra cost in that as well. So yes, doable, but it'll cost.
Hippy dippy crazy chicken lady. That's a good name.
That is an amazing name.
I don't have a car and live in Berkshire. I guess that is. But if you put research in to find those places that have a lot of charity shops in that one town, I end up carrying bags of stuff, but then it can be a good thing. Yeah, it's just local knowledge again. Just trying to think my routine. Like I've obviously got my town, but they're near the bottom of my charity shop championship thing I'm doing. My boot sales, I'd have to get a taxi. That's more cost. And I pick up bigger things, so I'd have to reduce the size of the things I buy. Because
and when you're at a car boot, the amount of times you go back to the car, when you've got your bags, it would be it's doable, but it would be difficult. That's all.
Like one industrial coffee machine weighs a ton.
Yeah.
So you'd have to leave stuff behind, and our car with the girls' seats out folds down like a little van, and even then I have to unload it before I go to my second one in the height of the season. And then even with parcels, I've got like a little circle, and I've got like every courier drop-off place. But then without a car, again, that's a big walk or a big bus journey. So yeah, you can do it. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah.
What's the time? Oh, nearly up to the hour. Actually, before we go into questions, obviously invited C on the channel, and he agreed, and he's almost at, if I screen share, I did get this ready. Almost at 5K. So if you're not subbed to, oh wait a minute, that's my screen. There we go. If not subbed to C, make sure you are. Almost at the 5K.
Oh, thank you.
That's all right. Obviously, you're focusing mainly on the live streaming at the moment, aren't you?
It's what I tend to be able to do. Just go live. Yeah.
And Friday chinwags with your wife, Bex.
Yep. I love doing those. Yeah, absolutely love doing those. Every Friday, Beck and I just sit down for an hour with the chat and just have a laugh. It's amazing. I absolutely love doing that. It's become an important part of our week, really.
Some exciting, super exciting reseller vlogs as well.
Yeah. Only super exciting ones, definitely.
But most importantly, a knowledge bomb.
Punch. Yeah, this is one of my more useful videos. Oh god, I'm a muppet sometimes.
Quality content.
Yeah, quality content, definitely.
Do we go? How do we go to the oldest first? There we go.
Oh, George, what are you doing, George, man?
I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. I appreciate it.
Look at this. Let's look at this one. Oh, that's not you. Hang on, I gotta see this while we're here.
Oh, what is this one?
Boom.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is when I was down south. Yeah.
This is when you was in London. So you see what sort of things you was picking up. Oh, trainers, there we go.
No, but look at those. They were made out of F1 tires. The soles were.
No way.
The soles were made out of F1 tires. I remember these. They were like really like really cool.
Electronics. I'm gonna make you jealous of your down south pickups.
Yeah, they were amazing. The things you'd find down south were just the footwear as well was incredible.
But there we go. If we can get Z to 5K live, even though we've got a few minutes left, that'd be awesome.
That would be. I do appreciate it though. Appreciate it, George.
That's all right. Thanks for coming on.
No, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
About it, and then we met at the meetup and we made it a deal.
Yeah. It was great. The meetup. If anyone has an opportunity to go to a meetup, it's honestly worthwhile. Even if you feel uncomfortable about the whole thing, it's still worth going because it's just it puts you. It makes you realize that that you're not alone doing this, and I think that can be. I've
said it in my videos. It's not natural for me to go up to someone I've never met and talk to them. And I had 80 people. I think it was you and Andrew. You made me. I was sitting in the corner with my J2O. I was quite happy. It's like, go on, go say hi to everyone.
People would have wanted to say hi, and it was amazing. It was.
Yeah, people are like brilliant. It's easy to talk to and everything.
Oh yeah, they are. I mean, I think that's the thing. Like with the whole YouTube reselling community, it's such a positive. It's a positive bunch of people. It really is. Yeah. It's just people are just helpful. The amount of times where I've made a video and someone who's more experienced will message just to help out and be like, hey, I think recently I had Bobby Billington, who's very knowledgeable when it comes to clothing and had an established clothing business, resale business that he runs with his missus for years. I feel humbled that he'd bother to take time out of his day to just to help me out, because I'd said that you see that lilac head bag. I thought it was vintage, but he spotted that from the zip, it was probably more of a retro bag than a vintage bag. So so not quite as old. So the one I had before had the right zipper type. So rather than me being stuck with it trying to get 50 quid forever, I can drop the price and change the title and things like that. It's just small things like that. I mean, he didn't have to do that. And things like that happen regularly, and it's thanks to this community. So
I think to end on, how do you think has YouTube affected your reselling business? How do you sort of blend it into each other, or
has it affected it? In one way it has, because it's just made I've made a lot of contacts and stuff through YouTube. For example, just getting to know yourself, getting to know Nick, getting to know Tom, getting to know so many people, and they're all different, good at different things. So, for example, Ronnie, that's in the chat, he his clothing knowledge is insane as well. There's so many people. Obviously I'm missing out bazillions of names and whatever, but my point is that you get to the network thing, as corny as it sounds, it is so amazing. It puts you in touch, and sometimes opportunities can come from that as well, where you might be given a heads up on something or other, like a haul or whatever. So yeah, definitely, I think it's helped in a massive way. So yeah, I try to see the positives out of it, and I don't think I've really had any negatives from it. Also, some of the viewers even have started buying stuff as well. Like I did
what you might have purchased from me this week.
Well, yeah. I mean, I made a little purchase from Georgia. Mates rates, and I was very pleased. Check out my Del Piero shirt, Sony mini disc logo on the front. That's amazing. I mean,
I was going to keep that, but
oh, it's such a nice shirt.
Yeah, on that.
Yeah, Bex knows, she's seen it. Yeah. So
I was going to say it's an opportunity. I need to say a big thanks to Ryko. Mm-hmm. He kindly sent this for free to me. I was offered him money, but there we go. Look at that.
Wow.
This might not mean anything to anyone, or not many people. This is 2002 to 2003 third kit, gold, new with tags. This could resell for 3 figures, but he was kind enough just to say thanks. Just gifted it.
Amazing.
But yeah, I never asked for this stuff. Obviously, I'm always willing to pay. But just YouTube has allowed my business to grow, with contacts, and obviously people purchase things. And
well, yeah, that's just it. I was I think it was in a recent video where I think it was in the last Chinwag where I talked about the the action figure haul. I recently bought an action figure haul from auction, and I was, I'm just trying to track it and see how we're doing, and I'd worked out that out of the 12 sales that we'd had, Bergamp on the back, yep,
Legend.
That out of the 12 transactions that had happened from that action figure haul, 3 of them were to YouTube viewers. So that's 25% to YouTube viewers. So, I can't ignore that. And that, if that's not a benefit, then, wow, on top, it's just amazing.
And also, I think one of my favourite things is allowing me to raise money for charity. That's one thing I've always wanted to do, like in a proper way. Even though I haven't done it yet, and I will be doing it.
That honestly, George, when you do it, it was definitely one of my proudest moments as well. Like, I literally just Beck shaved my hair off, and yeah, that was it. It was about an hour, and I think we raised over
$2,000, is it?
Over $2,500. I think it was. Wow. I think it was in an hour for shaving my hair off. I'm like.
And you've done the...
We did the moonwalk with Nick, Beck and I did that with Nick and Andrea. I mean, like, I never thought we'd be able to do something like that. And then, you look at the charity auction that Tom and Nick arranged as well. It's just been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shazad. Yeah, see, and meeting people like Shazad as well. I mean, he's actually, I do get to talk to him, and he's a really, really knowledgeable guy. And he's not into us. He just takes the mick out on me. That's all.
Julie bought a Gunner shirt from you. Julie was at the meetup as well.
Yes. Julie got that polo shirt.
Oh, it was her.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yeah, with the. Yes.
I inquired about that one. But it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, it's gone to a good home.
Yes, it has.
All right. Unless there's any other questions, I think we'll wrap this up. Unless you've got any questions for me, Z, while you got me.
I'm absolutely good. I'm absolutely good, mate. I'm just thank you for having me on, really, and appreciate.
Just see if you
appreciate it.
That's all right. Let's see if you've hit it.
No, I don't.
It's already gone up to 499.
Oh wow! Yeah, that is gone up then. Thank you. Let me have a look. Yeah. I do appreciate it. It's very kind of you.
It's chugging away.
Yeah.
Oh, not quite. It doesn't do it specifically now, does it? YouTube.
No, it doesn't. It gives you. Yeah, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I think I've covered all my questions. I have. There you go. That wasn't too bad, was it?
Right. Yeah. What was vinegar JavaScript? I'll get you to answer my question later. What's that?
Type in again.
No, don't worry. It's only pizza. Yeah, yeah. You can see. You'll answer.
Right, there we go. Arsenal lost. Don't put me in a bad mood after this good chat. I had to turn it off. I was getting too distracted. Whatever. They probably cheated anyway. But yeah, so thanks, Steve, for joining me. Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it very much.
180, we think we reached, which is awesome. And yeah, there we go. Go follow Z or subscribe to Z. From me, I have filmed another video, hopefully out tomorrow. I filmed 2 videos actually today.
Oh wow!
So look out for them. And do you want to do a little outro? What have you got planned? Any lives tonight?
I might go live later, but I can't be sure. Yeah. And Beck and I will be live on Friday at about 7 o'clock. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock for another chinwag full of really useful information. Honest.
Is that 7 sharp or 7-ish?
Around 7. Come on. You're talking to
about 7:30, 8, they'll go live. There you go.
Yeah, George. Exactly. That's about as accurate as I can be sometimes.
Right. So thanks, mate. Thanks, chat.
Cheers.
We'll see you in the next one. See you later, everyone. End broadcast.